Hey, all you magical beings out there, welcome in or welcome back. My name is Tara. I've been reading tarot for over 2 decades, and my intentions are to shed light on the unknown and provide confirmation for what is already known. Take what resonates and leave the rest. So grab your snacks, your crystals, or your cat, and let's see what cosmic mischief is about today. So first things first, we're gonna clear the energy out. Woo. Okay. And to get started today, I did a little pre-poll, and the topic of discussion that Spirit would like to address is the fear of failure. This is also about Saturn's collective consciousness. So if you have Saturn heavily in your chart, especially if it's, I would say, negatively aspecting anything that has to do with your life purpose, your career, anything like that, I would say this reading would be especially relevant for you. And then we also have that this is about a being that must be protected at all costs. So whoever this reading's about, they're super important to the universe, and their mission, from what I'm gathering, is super important. I also pulled the stakes at hand, and we got death, psychological, professional, or physical, versus life, and person versus society stakes. So this fear of failure has to do with something to do with society and the North. So I pulled a North Node card to get clarification on that. And we got Aries North Node, lessons and rewards around themes of leadership, learning, balance, stepping out as a leader and star, prioritizing your own goals, cultivating courage, trusting your gut, and embracing your desires. So then we moved on to what is desired by this being that must be protected by all costs. And we got being acknowledged or appreciated by family, serving others, and avoiding certain death. So that's interesting because we got the stakes at hand being death. And then as far as the persons versus society, one of the desires is to serve others. So that confirmed the idea that this fear of failure has to do with serving others, helping humanity in some way. So then I asked, so this is the motivations and goals. I said that wrong. These are the desires. So the motivations and goals are being acknowledged or appreciated by family, serving others, and avoiding certain death. The desires are physical activity, curiosity, a strong desire to learn and discover, and protection. And I found it interesting how protection fell right next to avoiding certain death, and curiosity, a strong desire to learn and discover, fell next to serving others. So perhaps what is needed here is to expand some type of skill, some type of knowledge base that can help serve others, and we'll try to seek clarification in the rest of the reading at some point on that, especially because we want to know, like, what exactly are we trying to do here. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is see, like, what kind of plot we got going on here. for funsies, you know? So we got fantasy, one of my favorite genres. Often involves supernatural themes and I'm not sure what that says. And are set in worlds that are impossible in reality, and impossible in quotations. Okay, because around here we believe anything's possible, all right? And we know anything's possible, actually. So, next thing we're gonna do is, I guess we'll do types of conflict. What kind of conflict are we gonna be facing here? What kind of conflict is surrounding this situation, Spirit? Future health care. We got oversleeping. So that definitely relates right to the physical activity. We really need to be looking out for our health, getting out there. This could also be something that the being that this reading's about, whether that be you or somebody else, one of their missions to help others could have to do with healthcare and helping people to be more physically active and stop sleeping so much. It may sound a little silly, but like oversleeping, but and as far as like, it's not like this seemingly grandiose mission, but like that is a big problem that a lot of people have. Oh, and then we got nuclear weapons. Okay. So that's definitely interesting. Okay. So that would be a more grandiose thing going on here. Future healthcare, oversleeping. Somebody's oversleeping on nuclear situation regarding nuclear weapons right now. That's not good. How about some conflict resolution? Well, let's do obstacle type first, I guess. See. Physical obstacle. Vehicle breaks down. Horse gets sick. Lack of wind in sail. Broken leg. Fallen tree. Okay. So that's like, that's the type of obstacle that's involved in this situation. And we'll seek clarification on that further, the best we can. And then conflict resolution. Acquiring necessary knowledge to unveil truth. And looky here, curiosity, a strong desire to learn and discover. Acquiring necessary knowledge to unveil truth. Beautiful synchronicities going on here. Wow. Okay. All right, so next, I feel like we need to ask Spirit which deck we should, or which source we should go to next. Since we're acquiring necessary knowledge to unveil truth, I feel like I need to be very thorough here, especially since there's nuclear weapons involved and all of this stuff going on here. So we got oracles of shadow and light. And stakes at hand deck came up again. So we already pulled from that, but we'll do it again. Gypsy deck, okay. Alright. And I'm also going to pull from some other ones as well, but like, I wanted to make sure I was addressing whatever needs to be addressed here. Like the most important stuff. Okay, so we pulled from Stakes at Hand how the behaviors and outcome affects one's soul. Example, ultimately going to hell versus going to heaven. Person versus fate stakes. How the behaviors and outcome affects one's soul. So we're having to really consider here, like, our decisions and what's going to happen to our very essence of our being. Some serious stuff. All right, so where's the Oracles of Shadow and Light deck? Oh, here it is. Actually, we are gonna need this one too, so let's not let that go hiding. Alright, we're gonna pull from the Oracles of Shadow and Light deck and see what that has to tell us about the situation. Very beautiful deck. I love the lock symbology. I don't think I said that word right, but it's okay. Right. Spirit, what do we need to know as far as this knowledge to unveil the truth in this situation? Nothing's popping out. I'm just gonna shuffle and just flip it to wherever. Violet Angel, Breaking Dawn. I don't know if we can still see that if I put it like over here. Whoop. Violet Angel, Breaking Dawn. We're gonna move our Astro dice and these rocks. Okay. Storm Angel, collision of beliefs, styles, attitudes, energies. Okay. We're just going to do 2 from this one. Alright, so for Violet Angel, we're definitely reading from the book because I'm not familiar with this card. And we're trying to acquire necessary knowledge here, so we got to be super thorough. Alright, so this beautiful angel appears when something new is on the horizon. She is the color of dawn, and she waits for you to become aware of these wonderful possibilities. So that definitely brings me back to the fear of failure, like trying to help this being that must be protected at all costs realize their full potential and how crucial it actually is to the future, apparently, of mankind in general. A lot of people having to do with healthcare, nuclear weapons. Okay. When she appears, it is a sign that many wonderful coincidences, we mentioned coincidences before, events, friendships, and changes you've been longing for are about to arrive at last. She wishes to arouse you so that you will be ready to take full advantage of all the new blessings that are coming soon. Wake up and ready yourself. All right. Let's wake up. Yeah, oversleeping. Wake up. The Violet Angel speaks. There have been times recently when you felt you've lost your spark and that your physical body has been exhausted. almost as if you were born tired. It has been a long night of the soul, but now I am here to let you know that not only has the worst passed, but the best is on the horizon. It is faint and it is gathering energy, but it is on its way. Soon, with this new dawn, your energy will begin to flow again, and you'll feel reconnected to your own internal power source once more. Your spirit will blossom, and your intuition will hum. Please awaken earlier and be ready to begin our work on this new project by spending time outside in nature in the early morning. Okay, physical activity. Spend out time. Spend time outside in nature in the morning specifically. Okay. Sounds like good advice to me. With fresh hope, this is the divination message. With fresh hope, after a difficult time, something new breaks through and shows evidence of its approach, and with it, your new reality. You have good reason to feel optimistic, cheerful, and like something has changed on a permanent basis. You are on the verge of a new day, and it is in these delicate and faint beginnings that something strong and bright will come. Do not wish it to hurry up to the brightest part of the day. Enjoy this tender new birth of a time which you have long hoped for. Gratitude and awakenings, early rising, and trying new things are all on the agenda when this beautiful violet angel of spiritual new awakenings flies into your life. Sounds lovely. I feel like that is some great news, and great advice. So we need to stop oversleeping. We need to go out in the morning, go outside, wake up with the birds, hear their beautiful songs chirping, and ground ourselves barefoot, preferably, is the best thing you could do. Go for a nice nature walk. Whatever you like to do outside, go do it. As long as it's not hurting anybody. Okay, and then we have the storm angel. The storm angel is collision of beliefs, styles, attitudes, and energies. So we're going to read this and try to figure out what Spirit's trying to tell us as far as this situation goes. This beautiful fairy is dressed in storms. Energy around her crackles and sizzles, but she is calm and unharmed. Now it is your time and turn to learn to deal with the energy that is around you without compromising your own. So going back to that violet angel, recognizing your own power and owning it. And just stop being afraid of failing, because you're gonna succeed, or whoever this message is about is gonna succeed. She appears when energies with major differences collide, when intentions are vastly different, when techniques are worlds apart, and when incompatible belief systems meet up. Yeah, I mean, look at the state of the world. I mean, that's just facts of this reality, really. But since we've known history to be, or been told or taught history to be, right? There's always been conflicting beliefs and everything else, and this is saying, like, don't compromise yourself because of it. Don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in, to try to attain your goals, your motivations, your goals, and your desires. Don't be afraid to do that just because other people don't agree with you. All right, so the storm angel speaks. There's nothing wrong at all with difference. Diversity is wonderful. Very true. Shadows and light are beautiful and necessary and can coexist in harmony, but certain kinds of difference do not blend. Like oil and water, they separate and cannot coexist in harmony. Therefore, I bring change. And when change comes, for some it is simple, easy, and flowing. For others, dramatic, erratic, wild, and full of static. Like I said, I appear when two forms of energy collide, high and low. I then appear to burn away the old and create a clear, fresh vibration, where all that is stale and fearful, fear of failure, and unpleasant has been cleared away. The wonderful thing about this challenging collision is that while you'll be nudged out of your comfort zone, you'll also realize just how much has changed and how far you have come. The results will be worth the pressure, trust me. When I appear, I know that it is natural for people to feel tension, to become even more entrenched in their beliefs, and to refuse to let go. The only approach you can take right now is to clearly and powerfully remain in integrity. Do not compromise who you are out of a misguided notion of being compassionate. You must speak the truth that is in your heart and stay committed to that truth. Okay. So don't be like easily swayed in a direction that's not true to your soul's calling, to your soul's heart, to your mind's eye of what is right, what you're supposed to be doing. No matter like how convincing the other party may be that's trying to convince you. There may be arguments, even angry situations and fights at the moment. Withheld energies are being freed so they can be released. You will uncover the truth about a situation, as no one can lie when this angel is about her work. So, acquiring necessary knowledge to unveil truth. There's going to be a deep truth that's unveiled, and nothing's going to stand in the way of that. Any lies, deception, manipulation, and cheating will be revealed. The most important objective for you when the storm angel is about is to speak truthfully and act in integrity, as all is about to become very transparent. And her fierce, bright light will reveal all that is hidden so that it can be banished for good. I love that. I love that for you or for this person. That's absolutely amazing. Okay. So, moving on. Okay, so the next deck that Spirit guided us to use is the Gypsy deck, which we have to find that. Alright, I had to go searching around for it, but we found it. Alright. Oh, we got some fortunes that just fell out of here. So that's interesting. Let's read it. Allow disruptions to deepen your concentration. Interesting. 42.7% of all statistics are made up on the spot. I feel like that could have a lot to do with this. Don't believe everything that you hear, no matter how convincing it might be and appear to be truth. That doesn't mean it's your truth. it doesn't mean that it's others' truth that you are called to help. Okay? So that's important. Keep that in mind. All right, so Spirit, can we please have some clarification on this situation using these gypsy cards? Actually, I have this deck is mixed. It's got regular playing cards and the gypsy, but I have like the Magi. I believe it's from the Magi interpretations on the other ones. We'll do both. We'll do both, guys. Okay. Oh, flying out. Crossroads. The other two cards were talking about that. We're at a crossroads here. Let's see what it says. The clover leaf is a bearer of good tidings, but if near clouds, it denotes great chagrin. If, however, number 2 does not lie near 29 or 28, the chagrin will be of short duration and happiness will follow. So if, however, number 2 does not lie near 29 or 28. Well, this is, I guess, if you're like doing a spread for the full deck, which we are not doing. So, but if that becomes relevant with the rest of the cards I draw with the numbers, we'll see. All right. Anyway, so basically, good tidings. You get the clover, crossroads. That's what the Violet Angel was speaking about, and the Storm Angel. Interesting, we got 2 angels here. Okay, this one wants to come out. So, we got 3 blackbirds and the tree. Good health, near flowers, fulfillment of highest hopes. Beautiful. Okay. Anything else, Spirit, that you want to... Anything else that we want to talk about? You know, that card... Let's go through one more time. What do you think? I feel like this one wants to come out. Mother Earth. A lot of nature stuff going on here. Wine is the symbol of cheerfulness and gaiety. Wine, okay. Yeah, time for celebration seems like is gonna be happening. Good health, future health care. So, I mean, I think that's something that is definitely, like, that's one of the desires is physical activity. We got future health care going on here as a conflict. If we don't do the physical activity, we're going to have issues with that. But this is saying, like, things are looking up. Things are on the up and up. Your health's going to be fine. Just stop letting this fear of failure, or whoever this is about, you could be watching for somebody else. Hold on a sec. My Roku on my TV just started tweaking out, so like I had to turn that off. But that reminds me of this. Allow disruptions to deepen your concentration. Yeah, so like I turned the TV off, so now my concentration's way better. Maybe that's a message for somebody else too. Is like look at things that seem like they're things that could be like annoying or seem like a burden, or even like kind of spooky or like kind of scary. It's like, whoa, what does that mean? Like, why did that happen? Does that mean I'm doing this reading wrong? That's not what I'm thinking at all, but I'm just saying, like, you know, that's where somebody's mind could go when a conflict or a disruption happens in life. And I feel like Spirit really wants us all to acknowledge that we need to look at things as an opportunity for growth instead of succumbing to this fear of failure. And yeah. So for the crossroads, that is from the Magi, playing card divination and fortune telling, the Magi method. And this speaks about the seeker is faced with a decision. Clubs represent the earth elements, which is interesting because we got Mother Earth and trees, birds, flowers, wine, clover, going outside. That card was Violet Angel was talking about going outside, physical activity. Oh, and look, physical obstacle, fallen tree, and this was talking about a tree. Wonder if that has anything to do with it. Could be a metaphorical tree, though. Too, like, almost like the tree of life, like falling on the tree of life in the cycle of manifestation, not being able to manifest because of that fear of failure. Having this metaphorical, I think I meant to say before, metaphorical broken leg, lack of wind in the sail, that kind of thing. And this is saying, like, the tree is not actually fallen. The tree is indicating the tree is in good health. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so clubs represent the earth elements and foundations, and they're all clubs. Wow, I just realized that. Duh. And foundations of our lives. This decision can relate to work, home, money, childcare, any aspect of a seeker's life. We make thousands of decisions each day, and the accumulated impact of these decisions determine our destiny. Crossroads may also represent a fork in the road, a new direction, options, alternatives, multiples, a decision, a choice, an actual road or street. Okay. So yeah. So we have a decision that we're going to be needing to make. And it's going to relate to our souls. It's going to affect one's soul. Okay. This decision is going to be a life or death decision, and it's going to also affect one's soul. It's a very, very consequential decision that's going to need to be made. And it's going to have to relate with seeing the truth in a situation and not being swayed by pitying others or being misguided into thinking that you're serving the good of others by compromising your own integrity. Okay, and then we got the Three of Clubs. Three blackbirds. Three Three blackbirds always fly in a group. They are very social. They pass the news and chatter along the grapevine, having all the latest gossip. Three blackbirds can represent business people, business meetings, negotiations, the frenetic activity of the business world, and getting things done. These are busy people sharing and transmitting interesting information. Three blackbirds in readings may also represent a job interview, chatting on social media, texting, tweeting, posting, phone conversations, negotiations, meeting for coffee with friends, exercise, jogging, playing sports, teams, and physical activity. So again, with this physical activity going on here, I was saying like a meeting, there could be like meetings going on where like these serious issues are being discussed, particularly the nuclear weapons. Maybe somebody that's watching, you know, somebody that works with nuclear weapons, or this is just talking about what's going on in the world right now. Sorry, I keep pausing. I keep like hearing, I keep hearing like stuff, so I was just seeing what was going on. All right. So, and then we got the Queen of Clubs. Mother Earth. Mother Earth represents pure earth energy and is a positive expression of nurturing feminine energy. This nurture usually represents the situation, but may also be expressed equally by male or female persons within the situation. Mother Earth represents fertility, pregnancy, reproduction, fruitfulness, femininity, beauty, spending time in nature, gardening, growth, creativity, sensuality, nurture, settling down, homemaker, childcare, domestic duties, a safe and secure environment, happy home, and a supportive community. Yeah, so all these like cards are pointing to you need to go outside, or whoever this reading is directed towards needs to spend time in nature, needs to reconnect with nature, needs to get their blood pumping, and the truth will be revealed. The angels will come in and clear the way. It may seem a bit turbulent at first, but things are going to be okay. And I think this desire for protection was confirmed with the storm angel saying like they're going to come in and sweep away all of the misguided conflict that's going on. You know, like I was saying, like opposing forces and opposing energies are necessary lots of times, or very often. They're very necessary for reality to function, right? But there are times like that they do not mix well, and one or the other needs to be swept away. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm getting with that. Alright, and so to get some clarification on the whole like serving others aspect, I'm just gonna pull some cards from my Storymatic deck. And hopefully that will become a little more clear. As to what exactly are we supposed to be doing to serve others and fulfill this Aries North Node with the leadership, learning balance, stepping out as a leader, prioritizing your own goals, you know. So all right. Let's see. Homeless person, so perhaps helping others who are homeless to have homes. We got prisoner of war sticking out here. There's a, you know, and that, like, definitely brings me back here to this nuclear weapons, prisoner of war. We're all prisoners of war, of the wars that are going on, and especially if they lead to this situation, then we're all going to be homeless, right? At the end of the day, Mother Earth gets blown up. Where's anybody going to be, right? Except for, I guess, the elite who have, you know, access to other planes of existence or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, the protection is on the table. The storm angel and the violet angel are here. And don't let the fear of any of this sway you from serving others truly and actually, like, being a good person, remaining in your integrity, because by allowing that fear by succumbing to that and falling victim to the weakness of giving in to what others want and what's not necessarily best for them in the situation, that's how you're actually going to fail. That's how you would come across this situation. So yeah, we need to really be careful with that. So, like, what's a behavior that needs to be, like, overcome here or watched out for, Spirit? Let's see if the card will apply to that. Talent show. Talent show. Okay. It did say here, stepping out as a leader and star, prioritizing your own goals, cultivating courage, trusting your gut, and embracing your desires. What's a behavior that needs to be looked out here for? Talent show. Okay. So to me, that's basically saying, like, show your talents. Stop hiding. Go outside. Show your talents. Do what you came here to do. That your soul's calling came here to do. To help people. What else? Debt. So another behavior that needs to be looked out for in this situation has to relate to debt. So perhaps addressing, you know, others' debts that are causing them to be homeless. Maybe even hosting a talent show would be a great way to actually embody all of this, is like hosting some kind of talent show for people where they can really showcase, and especially broken people, you know, where they can showcase, like, what they're skilled at and gain that confidence and actually, like, become a functioning person, you know. A lot of the homeless population is very, very jaded, very downtrodden, very ripped apart by whatever's happened to them in their life, and sometimes all anybody needs is just for somebody to see that light in them and see their potential and actually give them that chance. And that might be the chance that they do take, the chance that they really needed. So I guess try to seek a little more clarification on this with the Neruda and the human design, and then we're gonna wrap it up with the human design. We're just gonna do a couple from the Neruda, and then we're gonna wrap this up. I mean, the first card I pulled out is Clown, which I find interesting because we got talent show, we got clown, and I have a lot to say about clowns. You know, my name is Harlequin Muse. My character, like my image, is a jester, which is kind of like a clown, I guess. And so I don't like to look on like clowns as like this negative thing, because I definitely identify with them in a way, but like, you know, there's definitely a lot of negative connotations on clowns, and I've had some trippy dreams where like a clown that looked like It from the movie It by Stephen King was chasing me and doing all this crazy stuff to people. So I feel like there's something there with that. Something to look out for. Anyways. Dragon. I've also had that come up a lot lately with dragons, and like people saying how if you need help to call upon the power of your dragons, and they love to help you, and like just meditate on them and like figure out what their name is and call on them by name, and don't tell anybody else the name, preferably. And you can ask them to help you, and they'll help you. And I did that, and it seems to have worked. But then somebody was saying how, interestingly enough, a homeless person was saying to me how in their belief system, dragons are considered like daemons, like demons, and that culturally, oh geez, I can't even say that word, they more like resonate with like angels, and then they say like dragons are actually demons, and that and then they went into like race, and they were talking about how like African Americans usually have angels, and then like Caucasian people have dragons. And I was like, you ain't gotta get all into that. I mean, I believe like there's angels and dragons, like you can have both. Most people probably do. It's really what you resonate with, but you don't gotta really make it about race. And I also believe like I was saying about the clown, like every race, every type of being, I do not believe them to be either intrinsically evil or intrinsically good just based off of that being. Like, you know, and evil and good is subjective also, you know. But I don't like putting any being inside that kind of box where it's limited to what they are capable of. So yeah, I mean, that's just something to keep in mind. And we got taking pictures. So maybe when you go out, I was gonna put it over here. I was drawn to put it over here. So like maybe when you go out in nature, take some pictures of yourself in nature. Maybe that's a talent that one of you watching has, is taking pictures. Maybe you need to feel more comfortable with getting your picture taken. That could have to do with becoming a leader, standing out in your star power, become more comfortable being seen, right? Yeah. It's like reminds me of like paparazzi and stuff. And we got robot came up, which AI is a huge thing going on right now. So that's interesting. There's something there with that. Maybe using AI to help you achieve your goals. I just recently started dabbling in AI. I was very hesitant. I'm a millennial. It was like, you know, I grew up in the world where like internet was just starting out and technology and all of that. And I grew up old school as well, very strict households. I grew up in a lot of different kinds of households actually, but like, you know, so I had my reservations about it, and I still do, but like I have definitely found the value in using AI to help like create images, to create like letters easily. Very time saving, like, and it's super helpful to have a essentially infinite database at your fingertips that can actually like retain memory and process personal data that you give it and implement it into whatever you're working on that you need help with. I just find that to be amazing. So yeah, I think there's something there with that for sure. And that one fell on curiosity, a strong desire to learn and discover. You know, again, this brings me back to the whole like good and evil situation. Like, you know, AI robots can be considered like good or evil. And again, good and evil is subjective. But maybe something that needs to be done to serve others would be to make sure to try to train maybe whoever's watching this, that this is about, or like whoever this is about has the ability to like train AI and or has the opportunity to like train an advanced AI, and they need to keep in mind the aspect of maintaining their integrity and serving others with nature in mind, with the preservation of maintaining our environment so that future generations, future healthcare, future generations can actually thrive and live and not be prisoners in their own home. So one last card we're going to pull is the human design, and then I think that about wraps it up. This was a beautiful reading in my opinion, and I really hope that it helps somebody. The very, you know, very least, at least entertain somebody, right? Sometimes I watch tarot readings and they don't resonate with me, but I still watch them because they're interesting, you know? So. Okay. Let's just see what human design channels for this being that must be protected at all costs are most important for them to succeed in this mission to focus on. Graciousness, social grace, Those who hold this channel are socially graceful and warm beings who draw on others to vicariously enjoy life, love, music, art, etc. Timing and mood can guide them to know when to use their strong social empowerment for others or when to retreat into solitary periods. Although this channel carries enormous social warmth and encouragement, those with this channel must be aware that their moods inform when it is or is not an appropriate time to be social or open. Listening to and honoring the emotional wave allows those with this channel to navigate into correct situations for them. The social grace of this channel has much to do with the dynamic ability to be open and friendly or introverted and guarded in accordance to the moment. So yes, I feel like, there needs to be this balance of like cautiousness and openness in relation to when it is appropriate, for sure. And I feel like whoever this reading's about has been using too much caution, and because of the fear of failure and the fear of death, and they need to be more open, but they also do need to maintain that cautiousness is a great tool to have. And I think that just the instinct needs to be tweaked here. The cautiousness is a great tool to be had because, like it was saying earlier, Spirit was saying earlier, how, there will be some moment where person or people try to sway you against your integrity and try to sway you in a way that makes you like feel bad for somebody else or for a group of people that's not actually like necessarily the truth or your truth, and it would lead to you compromising your integrity and your whole mission. So like making sure that you remain guarded in those situations where people are trying to manipulate you, like this meeting that the 3 blackbirds was talking about, and to remain open though to shine your light to help others in the ways that you can. And we'll do one more from the stack. Cross of Masks. Interesting, because we're talking about being like open and then closed, and like masks is like that's self-explanatory. Like you're hiding your identity or you're unveiling your identity. Sometimes a mask could even actually make us feel more like ourselves than our own face, right? It depends on what's going on here. So the Cross of Masks presents as the business and practicality of slipping into a role in order to achieve outcomes. Okay, so then we're talking about slipping into a role, and this is talking about your North Node stepping out as a leader. While the 13th and 7th gates orient to what has happened and what may come to pass, the 4323 channel provides the potential for individualistic and efficient insight. This cross is about practicality and function. The ordeal of communicating individuality in spite of imposed roles. Okay, yeah. So, like, whatever society's roles have been placed on you, or, like, trying to be pressed upon you to maintain your integrity, your individuality, your individual integrity. Taking on roles in an aspect of life that is difficult to escape. It is rare to meet someone who does not use a mask in one way or another, such as in first meetings, romantic partnership roles, or navigating other kinds of societal norms. People with this cross learn about the roles they were conditioned to play and work towards a life where they may live barefaced as themselves. If someone with this cross crosses your path, be aware that the roles, characters, or masks that you may have been wearing may come more sharply into focus. So interesting. So, like the Storm Angel was saying, the Storm Angel's coming to unveil the truth and, like, break down all of these illusions and sweep away the conflict. And so that's so interesting, because it's saying, like, if someone with this cross crosses your path, be aware that the roles, characters, or masks that you may have been wearing may come more sharply into focus. We have unmask, identities, practicality, and impersonation, inauthentic, misunderstanding. Yeah, so basically just being true to yourself, not letting others determine who you are. Only you can determine that. And it's how your behaviors and how your behaviors will create this outcome that will affect your soul. This outcome is very, very critical to your life's purpose, to your soul's essence. It's not something to be taken lightly, to be ignored, but things definitely seem like they are in your favor. You have the good luck going on here, the celebration, you know. Just keep in mind all of these things with, like, like having this positive, more positive perspective where you're staying true to who you are, and not just giving up at the first sight of conflict or disappointing somebody else because they have this idea of who you are, but it's not actually who you are. At the end of the day, you have to live with yourself. You have to live with your soul. No one else. They have their own soul to deal with, you know? So anyways, I hope this helped, and I will catch you on the next one. Oh, and let's clear the energy out. Be a little silly. Oh, and real quick, actually, I don't know if I showed this, but this art is so cool. I love that. Here's the other one. This art. She's looking at the horizon, pointing towards it, and it appears a man is trying to pull her away from the horizon. Interesting. Yeah. Stay true to who you are. Stay true to who you are. Also, please don't mind my disgusting nails. They are a hot mess. And I got, like, I don't know what that is all over my hands. My good nail polish disappeared, and, like, this nail polish is just awful. And I was honestly too lazy to go get a nail polish remover to fix the edges. You know what? It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. All right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever time you're watching this. And I'll hopefully catch you on the next one. Peace.